94XO, it's Moni XO. The first ever STL 50/50 just launched. I'm going to be talking to Jared Opsel about it to learn more. Stay tuned. You're watching 94XO. Jared, let's start off with what is STL 50/50?
Yeah, it's a 50/50 raffle. So for those that aren't familiar with what a 50/50 raffle is, people buy a ticket for the raffle, and then half of the total ticket sales are awarded to the winner of the raffle, and then the other half goes to the featured charity of that raffle. So some people might have done a 50/50 at a Cardinals game or a Blues game. They usually do them in the stadiums. A lot of charities will also do them at like a trivia night or some other event that they have going on. So many people are familiar, but for those who aren't, that's what it is in its essence. And then what we decided to do was to take that idea of the in-person 50/50 raffle and put it online. And it really, it came from seeing all these charities that were just getting hammered by COVID-19. They weren't able to do their fundraisers. They weren't able to host events. They couldn't even have volunteers come in their doors to help out and serve the community. So we were just thinking, how can we put something together that would make it easy for them to raise funds and also make it fun and exciting to get more people involved in giving.
So how do you feel about doing this type of event compared to just, in a sense, making a website to have them just digitally donate? Like, what really brought your attention into actually wanting to do that 50/50 raffle?
Yeah, seriously, rewinding a little bit what we just talked about, it was going to a Blues game last year when you could still go to big events like that, and seeing the money that they were able to raise for that charity at the game, and I was like, it just kind of sparked something of, wow, people really like 50/50 raffles.
Yeah.
And I think it just gets more people involved in giving that might not normally think about just giving a donation. I think it's that little incentive, that little nudge to give something, to get someone interested in giving back.
Yeah.
And seeing that, and we started just looking into it. Has anyone else ever done an online 50/50 raffle? And we kind of dug into that, and no one's done what we're trying to do, which is make it a regular thing, just like the lottery, where there's a raffle every month and it just keeps on going and keeps helping local charities every single month.
That's a great idea.
And the ones that we did find that were similar, meaning they did a big online 50/50 raffle and they got a lot of promotion around it, they were able to raise tens of thousands of dollars, which is, you think about what that can do for these struggling charities and then for the people that they serve in the community. Plus, you think if you're the winner, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And that ties into the next question for people that may not have ever donated to nonprofits or really paid attention to them. Why is it so important for us to donate and spread awareness to help these different nonprofit organizations?
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about all the things in a community that make it a great community to live, work, and play, usually it's the nonprofits that are supporting and addressing a lot of the issues that we see. So if you don't want stray dogs running around your neighborhood, there's usually nonprofits are the ones going out there and getting those stray dogs and getting them placed in homes. If you're worried about homelessness, you see people on the street that are hungry, that don't have a place to live and sleep that night. Usually it's a nonprofit at the forefront that's addressing that and helping those people. And it's nonprofits are always at the front of these issues, the tip of the spear, if you will, of making sure that all these problems in our society and all these issues are being addressed. And it's not even just the issues that we think of are the most dire and difficult to solve. Some of them are, just think of the arts community. All these different performance venues where you can't see a concert anymore, so all those artists are no longer able to perform. A lot of those venues are run by nonprofits. So you think of the Powell Symphony Hall or the Sheldon or all these different places you go to see an event, or the different museums, the photography museum, the art museum. Those are all nonprofits.
I'm glad you say that, because a lot of us don't know that and don't realize that. So when you kind of like look at the feedback and the complaints and things like that, and people are not understanding that nonprofits basically run the world, right?
That's what I like to think, because I'm so involved in the nonprofit world myself. But I think it's easy to forget about them. They're struggling just like that mom and pop restaurant or corner store or retail shop is that you've seen down the street. And if they don't have volunteers helping them out, if they don't have events that bring people through their doors and also bring revenue in where they can hire people to go out and address some of these problems, then those problems don't get solved and the problems get worse.
Yeah.
So that's why in my mind it's so important to keep nonprofits in our thoughts when we have the ability to give back, and when you're in that position where you can carve out a little bit of what you earn every month to chip in a little bit to help out. That's why I think that's so important for people to think about.
Yeah. Now, how does your team pick each nonprofit to donate to every month?
Yeah, so we had our board of directors got together with this, and they really put a lot of thought into it. We looked at a few different things. We looked at what were some emerging needs in the community, especially with COVID currently occurring. We were trying to think of all the different variety of nonprofits that I kind of touched on as well, because it takes, in my mind, all these different things to make a great community. And then we were looking at some standard things, such as, are they transparent with their financials? Are they up on all their tax filings? Does everything look proper with all their revenue and expenses and all that kind of stuff? And then the last thing that they were really concerned about was, if they were to get a large sum of money suddenly, would they be able to turn around and actually put it to good use?
Yeah.
That they really did not want that just sitting in the bank account of the nonprofit for a year. They wanted to make sure it was turning around, and that nonprofit had the capacity to turn it around and do something with it and do some good in the community.
Now let's talk about the first nonprofit for December, Youth in Need. What's a little? Can you tell us a little more information about this nonprofit and why you guys decided to go with them first?
Yeah, they're just incredible. I mean, they really are. They're a model nonprofit in my mind for people who are interested in how to start one and how to run it and grow it over the years. So they've been around, I believe it's since the early 70s is when they were founded, and they just keep growing and growing every single year. And they now serve over 10,000 kids and families who are in crisis in the St. Louis region every single year. So that could be a kid who's homeless. Maybe they no longer have any parents in the home and they're just bouncing around trying to find a place to live. That could be a kid who is placed in foster care. They help out with foster care and adoption services. They also offer health centers. They offer mental health counseling. They offer, assistance with education. I mean, they really do just about everything you could think of for a kid in a family who's in crisis and they don't know where to turn, they don't know what to do. And that's what Youth in Need does now, and they have locations throughout the entire region to help serve people.
So I know that raising funds is the main agenda, the most significant thing that you guys are trying to do with the STL 50/50, but what are some other objectives that you are trying to, in a sense, get from the community to spread awareness about all these different nonprofits?
Yeah, well, one big hope, besides hopefully, obviously, as you touched on, raising a good amount of money for the featured charity, is to raise awareness of them. Because like I mentioned, not everybody has the ability to give back, but maybe they can donate a few hours a week or a month to help out. So them now being aware of this nonprofit, what they do, where they're at, and maybe something sparks like, oh, I can actually go stop by and help them out, on Mondays at 2 o'clock or whatever time it is that works for them. One other thing that we are doing is we have a lot of drop locations where people can donate items to Youth in Need. And the South Grand Business District really stepped up and helped out, and they set up boxes where you can drop off items to help out the kids. And those could be anything from bathroom supplies, clothes, also just some simple office supplies for Youth in Need. So if you've got an extra thing of printer paper, they could use that.
Oh, okay.
So we
have a lot of that.
Yeah, so they have a whole list of things that could really help them out. And we'll be sharing that on the website and also on our social media site so people can find different ways to help out and give back.
Well, I'm excited. You guys just launched December 1st, so we have a long way to go for December. Now, where can people find more information out about you guys? How can they donate? What's your guys' website? All of that.
Yeah, the simplest thing is to visit the 50/50 website, and that's STL5050.com. We've got pretty much all the info you need about Youth in Need on there, as well as the raffle. And that's the simplest stop to get involved. Also, obviously, the social media sites. So there's, if you just type in STL 50/50 in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, those will all pop up, and you'll see information on there too.
Okay. Now, before we wrap up, it's time for the cosaReject jar. So you can go ahead and grab the jar, and then you'll be able to pull out 3 questions and then answer them the best way that you can.
Okay. Have you ever pooped your pants? Not including when you were a baby. Thankfully, I have not. I've been very lucky in that department.
Okay, that one was really random.
Let's get another one here. Let's see. If you could trade lives with anyone for a day, who would it be and why? Let's see, that's a good question. I'd love to trade lives with, I'd probably be a time period too. I'd love to be in either President Obama or Biden's shoes for a day just to see what that would be like.
As I see all those messages, those crazy.
That to me would just be fascinating, and also I think, yeah, that would be an incredible
Your
experience.
hair might turn gray.
Yeah, I think it would.
Last question.
All right. If you were in a witness protection program, what would be your new name and where would you go? Wow, that's an interesting one too. What would be my new name? I'd probably go with some kind of French-Canadian hockey name like Desjardins, because I grew up playing hockey up through college and still play for fun. So I'd probably do something like that, and then yeah, I'd go up to Canada, so then I could play hockey just about any time I want.
And I'm Moni XO, and we are out. Be easy. It's your girl Moni XO, and you just finished a 94XO interview. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social media platforms. Be easy.